Hi everyone, I am Caitlin Floyd. I am a student at Eastern Kentucky University, currently in the social work program. So today I'm going to be giving a little bit of a case overview of my case that I've been working on this semester with Mr. Jimmy Jones. He is a 28-year-old man who is currently in the military and facing the end of his contract due to being med-boarded out of the Army, which means that due to medical purposes he's unable to do his job the way he needs to, so they are going to honorably discharge him. So with this, he has decided to reach out to the Department of Veterans Affairs and get help with adjusting into the civilian lifestyle, which can be really tough. With this, he is fearful of securing employment before he does leave the military, as he has been in for several years, and that comes with a lot of structure, a lot of discipline, and secured pay, secured income. And so leaving that can be very stressful and very hard for people. So something that we have been working on together is finding employment. We got to a point where he decided that he was extremely interested in law enforcement, and so that's basically the steps that we've been on through our last interview, was looking into local law enforcement agencies, seeing if they're hiring, figuring out their requirements, and we were going to go from there once we got his resume put together with all of his qualifications, trainings, things like that that might help him qualify for the job above others. So with that, there's a few other issues that we were addressing together. After he leaves, he stated in the future he might need help finding housing and maybe even childcare if his wife also needs to start looking for work if the income is not going to suffice for what they need. So in my DAP note that I made, I stated that the client spent most of the time talking about leaving the Army, his fear for finding steady employment after, and he talked about the stress of finding childcare, moving, and the feelings of hurt he has about being med-boarded out of the Army, which is very understandable. For A, I put the client seemed comfortable talking about his situation, but it seemed as if he was embarrassed to be asking for help. I did want to include that in there because it did seem like a little bit, it was a little hard for him to get started in our first interview together. However, I do have to admire the fact that he did willingly reach out to the Department of Veterans Affairs to receive help. And also for P, for the plan, I just included that we will follow up with information on local law enforcement agencies to inform client of requirements and what options he has in that area, since that seems like his ideal goal. We will also review resume together in the next meeting. So for the questions that we had to answer for this case conference, I'm going to go over just 3 of my answers. So the first one, the first question was, what skills learned from this class did you use to prepare to see your client? My answer was, prior to this class, I had very little to no knowledge on how to conduct an interview with a client. I had no idea how to start an interview, how to get the client talking about concerns or circumstances. All I'd seen is videos that we've watched in prior classes, but other than that, putting myself in front of a camera and actually taking on the lead role as a social worker was difficult for me. So from this class, I learned many skills to help, such as the phases of introduction, exploring, contracting, which I had no idea was a part of that. I learned many interviewing skills, verbal, nonverbal skills, how important it is to keep eye contact and be attentive during your interviews. I learned how to do an introduction, and also I learned about confidentiality in the consent forms, which I know is very important as well. And for the second question is, give a brief overview of how you applied the generalist intervention model with your client. So overall, the GIM provided me with an excellent foundation to structure my case with my client. Prior to this class, I had very little knowledge on how to actually act as a social worker, like I stated before. And so I believe that using the GIM actually just guides you in how to successfully handle a case. I applied it by using each step throughout my interviews with my client to help stay on track and not sway from our goal. I believe it really did help me to stay focused on what I needed to do, making sure that I didn't skip any steps, even though I tend to rush to the planning thing, which leads me into the last question, which is there anything that you wish you had done differently with your client? So one thing I wish I had done differently with my client is to take more time exploring. I feel like I rushed into problem solving. It did not get deep enough into his concerns and really let him explore his concerns himself along with me. I feel like I could have guided that more and facilitated that a little better than I did. I feel like I got one problem and then focused on that throughout the entire time, and I feel like that it could have been handled differently. So that's something that I feel like I will definitely have to continue working on throughout the process, because naturally as a person, I'm a problem solver. I just like to do things and check them off the to-do list. So I think I need to get more comfortable and secure with the exploring phase. Sorry. Okay. So thanks so much for watching this, guys, and I've really enjoyed this semester. Thanks.